Sudden Death is a 1995 American sports action thriller film directed by Peter Hyams, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Powers Boothe, Raymond J. Barry, and Dorian Harwood. Welcome back to the Cult of Films, and goddammit, we're back. We're back with Lindsay and Jason. Hoya!
I didn't know we were supposed to do a thing.
Is that what Van Damme does? He goes, hiya.
No.
Well, I can leg kick
thing.
from a
He does
sitting position.
A French kicking people-based martial art.
I'm 7 days post-op. I can't kick above my own ankle right now. Give me a break. We're back. We're back on the list. We're back in the Kumite. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a minute.
If my prediction is correct, Lindsay's going to poop all over this because I pooped on Hard Target.
Oh, no. Hey.
I felt like you took that personal.
I didn't take it personally. I was just like, because both of you didn't like it. So I was just like, aw.
Well, we got some good riffs about how ridiculous it was.
Why?
But that's part of what I like about it. That's
like
part
Wilford
of
Brimley.
As Cajun Grandpa, yes, it's
That was my
so
favorite
over
part
the
of
top
movie.
and amazing.
So we're trying, I guess, Lindsay's a professional. We're trying not to take each other's thoughts on Van Damme out on each other's subsequent films.
We know we're going to weaponize Van Damme's
We
feelings.
started with The Quest.
And it hasn't been unseated yet. It's at the top. Could Sudden Death
Could happen
unseated?
tonight in Sudden Death Overtime.
Probably not, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Don't want to bury the lead. But this is before we get into the Van Damme-ness about it. This is another Peter Hyams. This is the unofficial Peter Hyams appreciation channel.
But he only did this movie because Van Damme did it, and Van Damme only did it because everybody else turned it down.
Yeah.
I think Stallone would have been pretty good for this, but I only say that because I'm the only person who likes the movie Daylight.
I like Daylight.
No, I like Daylight too. Well, look at you, think you got crispy takes, and we're like, yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Daylight's a deeply stupid movie. It's a poor man's Cliffhanger.
Yes, very much so.
But I like it more than Cliffhanger.
He made it on his lunch break during Cliffhanger. Yeah. What did we do? Peter Hyams. We did Time Cop. We talked about The Relic. He directed one of my here's a hot take. I love End of Days. That was a big piece of shit that no one else liked. Yeah, an Arnold movie.
You're a choir boy.
Choir boy. You're a fucking choir boy compared to me. A choir boy.
Yeah. Oh, Gabriel Byrne's so good in that, though.
He is pretty good in that.
Good in everything, though.
That's true.
We should just do Miller's Crossing tonight.
Okay, yeah. And Cool World. What a fucking
Cool World.
Oh my god.
What a 1-2 punch.
Do you like it, Deeps?
Yeah.
This is the Gabriel Byrne appreciation cast now. We had to give Frank Whaley his Twitter feed a break because I can't add him anymore. I've already reached the limit. So we're going to kind of spread the love, talk about Peter Hyams. I think, and I'm going to use the word that Jason hates so much, but talk about underrated action directors. I think Peter Hyams doesn't get enough. He makes some good ass schlock. He makes the cream of the crop of schlock.
But nobody knows the name of a 90s director, though. The average person on the street, they couldn't tell you the person who directed their favorite 90s movie. So, is Peter Hyams underrated, or people just not sit around banding about the best 90s sports action thriller directors?
Yeah, I just don't think people put his name, people don't know what his name is. They don't connect all those films together.
Yeah, it's actually really funny to go back on IMDb and look at who actually directed this movie. You're like, Jonathan Demme?
What was he doing?
He did Meatballs 4?
I mean, this is a Jason Alt pick. We always like to put on blast who picked out of the Jean-Claude.
Before we even get started, this is
right.
Jason's
Yeah,
fault we're doing this.
Pre-shame people.
I like this movie a lot.
Sure.
John has seen the movie more this week than I have in my life.
Yeah. It was an ongoing joke. It was every time it wasn't even a joke. It was for real. Every time we sat down and it was gonna be Sudden Death Night. Something happened, and we had to keep pushing the episode. So I literally watched this movie, I think 4 or 5 times at this point. So I've seen it more than Sesame Street. So, and there's still not a lot about it.
Is that an idiom people know? I've seen it more
More
than
than Sesame Street?
Oh, Mr. Williams.
Elmo.
What are you going to do with that stick?
Oh, there's lots of things you can do with this stick, Elmo.
Like, quick, John, name a program or movie.
Sesame Street.
This is the quintessential Jason pick, because it's not only Van Damme or this era Van Damme action movie, but also they play hockey.
But it's not just hockey. It is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Pittsburgh Penguins in a universe where Dollar Bill Wirtz didn't completely gut the Blackhawks after they lost in 4 games to these same Penguins in 1992. This was shot during the 94 lockout season, so whoever can be like, I bet Chicago's still good without Chelios. No. Actually, Chelios was on the Blackhawks in this movie. So they had like an AHL team, the Pittsburgh affiliate, play the Blackhawks, and they had like only a couple of NHL players were in the movie.
He was a goalie.
A little semi-pro in Canada. Was a long time ago.
Come by some afternoon. I'll show you the difference between the game you played and the one I play.
I can see the difference.
Marcus Naslund, who like I just learned that today, that Marcus Naslund, who like was actually like really terrific for Vancouver, was just on the AHL team that like played the Blackhawks in this movie. So it was fun. They bothered to have real players and real numbers on the jerseys and everything. Like, it said number 68, Jaromir Jagr, and then Jagr's like, why the fuck was I on the ice for every goal against? I was -3 in a game we won. This is bullshit. But they said the wrong names, which was so funny.
Oh, really?
They bothered to put the right names and the right numbers on the jerseys, and then like they're like, it's a goal by Stevens, but it wasn't. They paid a lot of attention to detail, and then also they didn't. So that was kind of wacky.
Was this as like purist to hockey? Probably not. But I want to ask you, purist to hockey as something like a Slapshot was, or even a Goon.
In terms of what? Because there was no like off ice drama except in the locker room a little bit. So it was mostly like, were they playing real hockey? Yeah, this was 2 minor league hockey teams playing against each other, and the hockey looked good, man. If it didn't look bad to you, then it's good hockey.
No, it was very convincing.
Yeah.
Well, they were.
It looked like they were playing hockey. They were staying upright.
CGI, just the guys are like, hold this tennis ball
minor league
pretend
team.
it's your stick.
The minor league team, because Van Damme blocked a goal, so
How embarrassing to the Blackhawks is that? Yeah, we put in the fire marshal. Like, that happens sometimes. They're like, oh shit, both our backup goalies are hurt, so we got to put in the Zamboni driver as the emergency backup. But that's like in the middle of the season. You're allowed to bring a bunch of goalies to Game 7 of the Stanley. They could have had so many goalies.
What I think it was the biggest missed opportunity that he didn't stop the goal with a splits. There's no splits.
There's no splits.
That's already a mark off this. No splits.
Well,
Lindsay,
he did. Yeah, he didn't do the splits in hard target either.
He would have torn his goalie pants. If he did splits.
Was that true?
I don't know. There were some goalies that used to. Basically, every goalie now will go post to post in the split position. They are very limber now.
Yeah. Were you a big sports movie fan, Lindsay, back in the day?
I mean, I liked movies, and I grew up playing sports, and my dad coached sports. So I mean, basketball, football, wrestling, any kind, baseball especially, because Field of Dreams came out just before this, a couple years before this. Anything like that, boxing. So yeah, I like sports movies, but this movie, I wouldn't call it a sports movie.
It was a
per
fire
se.
marshal movie.
It's a fire marshal movie.
What he gotta do? Probably change more light bulbs. I thought you said firemen don't do that kind of stuff. Dad's not really a fireman anymore, Emily.
Because
They went
there's
to a, they went to
there's-
a fight in a hockey game, bro.
yes, it's like there's a game going on, but it's just set dressing.
Such a backdrop, yeah.
It's integral
Yeah.
to the plot. He has to pretend to be a goaltender. He has to pretend to be a mascot. He has to pretend he can act.
The mascot fight. Oh my god, we got to slow roll that though.
I see
that
the
is-
Oh yeah.
Oh, the fucking penguin. Jason, what is hard target? No.
Hard Target. Is
Jason,
a
what
movie
is
where
sudden
I
death
got to
about?
say "Enchante" during the review of it.
Diabetes.
Sudden death. Yeah, see, that's the thing about Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. Was it Hard Target or the same thing with Steven Seagal? It's like which one
A
was
little bit.
marked for death and which one was above the law? You know, Sudden Death is a movie about a firefighter who didn't fight a fire very well. He was traumatized by not saving a little girl who was the same age as his little girl at home from a fire. So he retires from actively fighting fires to do a desk job. Part of his desk job is he gets to be the fire marshal at the Penguins Stadium. I forget what it's called. Probably the Allegheny War Memorial or something.
The Pittsburgh Civic Arena.
The Civic Arena. So he gets a job as the fire marshal. He has to do inspections and stuff like that. But, mostly he just gets free seats to the game. So he and his wife are divorcing. He takes his 2 children to the game as part of his court mandated 5 hours of kid visiting a week or whatever he gets. So he takes his kids to the game, but there's a plot to kidnap the vice president and hold him for ransom. And he's got to die hard at a hockey game. This is Die Hard at a hockey game.
He's got to do a Die Hard.
And some people have said it's Die Hard at a hockey game to disparage the film, but that only made me want to watch it more. So he does a whole Die Hard.
This was the closest I ever came to seeing Die Hard. It's great.
You've never seen Die Hard? So,
Yeah. No,
so you've seen more things
talk
that
after.
parody Die Hard?
Oh my
Would it be
God.
funny if you
Right,
hadn't
exactly.
seen Die Hard and I just found that out now?
I'm serious. I've never seen
He's,
Die Hard all the way
he's
through.
being
This is the thing.
serious.
Yeah, we've known this.
At this
yeah.
point, it's willful.
Right. No,
You're
I know.
avoiding
Exactly.
it on purpose at this point.
You are
You're
doing it
watching
on
and be like, oh,
purpose.
this movie's so fucking good. Why didn't I watch this?
This is a badge of honor.
I was
at this
doing
point.
a bit.
Yeah, it's harder not to watch.
Dude,
not
pick
to fall in
something
the hole.
stupid not to watch forever.
Right?
Yeah.
Die Hard's not even it's not even that controversial a film to champion.
Oh no, it's
so at this point,
universally seen
Sudden
as
Death
good.
better than Die Hard, in my opinion. There we go.
Fucker.
Talk about bringing this podcast to a screeching
Oh
halt.
my
but,
God.
An interesting thing about this is I didn't realize is it came out in '95, so we were all theater-going age at this point. I had no idea that this film existed in 1995. Did
I
either
saw
of you
this
get to
in
see
a hotel room on HBO.
it? As God intended.
Yeah. And then my dad was like, all right, we got to get up early. And I was like, but there's a half hour left of the movie. He's like, fuck you. So I didn't
They're
see
tied.
Oh, stop the press! Stop the press! The Penguins have tied the game. We're going to sudden death overtime.
it. Yeah, the game was tied. I didn't see this movie fully until years later when I ran into a Blockbuster. I was like, oh yeah, I never saw how that ended. I was like, oh, that's how every action movie ends when... It's a guy with plot armor. Got it. You're not going to kill Van Damme.
Mm-mm.
This
No,
is an
I-
executive decision.
Well, any of the people he's close to, really. Lindsay, did you get to when did you see this? I don't think you saw it.
When it first came out, I think it was... I can't remember if I saw it on TV or if we rented it. I think we rented it. So that's how I first saw it. But I remember the trailers being on television all the time. I mean, they pumped this movie really, really hard.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Powers boost.
spent a lot of money, but then they didn't have a lot of money left. They're like, they used cardboard cutouts instead of extras at one point.
$35 million budget. It made $64 million. So, I mean, it almost doubled its budget. It did its job in the box office wise.
How many movies has Peter Hyams had a character named Spoda?
Spoda.
They don't even say Spoda in it. Like, all of these characters you watch in the end credits, and you're
It's like, who are these
did they
people?
say this guy?
No.
Joshua Foss. Did you hear the name Joshua Foss at all in the movie?
No.
No. Who do you think played Joshua Foss?
I don't know.
Powers Boothe. See?
Oh!
See? Why have the credits? Why have...
He was
say
just
his name
Powers
once.
Booth. They don't
Yeah.
say
There's
his
a guy
name.
named Spoda into the movie, but that doesn't say their name. So you go to the end credits, it's like Spoda's played by whomever.
Ron Howard.
Some guy.
Oh yeah. I if we're just jumping into like what we thought about, I've slowed rolled it enough. I loved this movie, and I bitched that and complained that I watched it a million times.
You wanted to watch
I
it.
wanted to watch. Exactly. This was one that I mean, if this was anything else, I probably would have rewatched it once or twice. But it's fun every single time. There's nothing not to like about like any 3 minutes of this movie. There's always something going on. It's brutal. This is a brutal ass movie. Like, they are killing folks. Like, the people that are always off limits are getting shot in the fucking face in this movie. And it's jarring. It's just like this nice old lady just tending her garden, and then this horrible person, like, you know, kidnaps her basically. They go in the house, and then he's just like talking like shit to her, and she's kind of giving it back. And then just like, I don't know, he's like, bye, and just like shoots Granny in the face. And it's like, oh my God. That's fucking brutal. Everybody but kids. Like, in the bad guys die in almost cartoonish brutal ways, which is so much fun.
It's fun, and then it's like, oh, a little girl died of smoke inhalation. You're like,
Oh,
what the
there is a
fuck?
kid that died.
It's
Yeah.
3 minutes into the movie.
You're right. Yeah. And the face.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
pretty heavy
seen this movie
opening.
since becoming a dad, and like,
Oh yeah.
everyone's like, things will change when you got kids. I'm like, yeah, right. And I watch a movie where a kid dies. I'm like, fuck this forever.
I totally agree. I
So
hate
like
watching
2
kids
minutes
die.
into the movie, and I was like, I haven't seen this in 10 years. I'm like, I always loved this movie. And I was like, dead kid?
Dead girl, little
Right away.
It made me chuckle. Maybe it was because the fifth time I saw it and I was just desensitized at that point. But she was like crying, and it's a really sad scene. And then once the shit falls on her, and then he like gets up, she's just like, "Whoa." She has this like, fucking dumbass look on her face, and it made
That's
me
a
chuckle.
7-year-old kid who's like been acting for a year, and it's like, no, look like you were squished.
Yeah.
Look, we're burning daylight here. We got to keep one of these takes. We can't afford to keep dropping the building on her.
I'm interested to hear Lindsay's opinion, because I feel like Jason and I's Van Damme level is somewhat similar as far as where
Why
the
do we
needle
always
falls.
vibe on what our favorite Van Damme movies
Fucking
are?
Van Damme. I don't know, man. This is our common ground, but I feel like Lindsay likes a little bit more of the hardcore schlock, like Hard Target. Where does this one fall for you?
I do like this one. It's not probably if it's in my top 5, it's number 5, I would say.
Respectable.
Yeah. And there is a lot of stuff that I do like in this movie, because they get very creative with the deaths. It's like 1,001 ways to kill someone in an industrial kitchen,
There were like
essentially.
46 deaths in this movie, and a lot of them were just like, I wonder what happens if someone goes through a Hobart dishwashing machine.
Yes.
She
Yes.
has like 10 of them. She gets burned. She gets like hit with the
The
thing
grease,
with the fan.
all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff.
It's like, I'm
So
sick
I
of
like
women
fucking
being
chili
portrayed as
powder?
weak in this movie. I want an indestructible woman to get wailed on by Jean-Claude Van Damme for a 7-minute continuous no-cut scene.
Oh,
Who
God.
is that actress? Because she must be like 7 foot tall. She is just
She's quite capable.
specimen. Yeah. And her fucking eye makeup is on point because it does the the zoom flash
Where you
of
see
her
the
when,
eyes,
when
yeah.
he grabs the pepper and it's just like, oh, this is a lady. And
I think she was the person who played Spoda in the movie.
oh, okay, there we go. We've solved the mystery. Someone gets a chicken bone in the neck on the outside, not just swallowing it. It was the variety is just so good.
Just tons of variety with the kills. This is a little more understated performance for Van Damme. I mean, he has his moments, especially when he's on the walkie-talkie and phone with Powers Boothe. They get a little campy, and I like that too. And I love Powers Boothe and his performance and everything. I love the finale on top of the stadium with the whole helicopter thing. The only things I don't like about this movie is, one, it's a Die Hard ripoff. That kind of dings it for me a little bit.
That's why I love it.
It doesn't completely knock it,
Right.
off my list or anything, but it does get a little ding for that.
It was Die Hard.
It's Die Hard. It is
It's
Die
not just,
Hard.
there were some similarities.
Oh yeah.
They're on a
Die Hard.
dome.
Going around
people.
checking the bombs.
Yes. No, it's
Talking to the bad guy on the walkie-talkie.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Not wanting them to find out who the woman they kidnapped is. Like,
Exactly.
Die Hard.
And because it's so Die Hard, it's hard for me not to compare it to Die Hard.
It's Die Hard for you not to compare.
Pretend you're Jon Dunning and pretend like you've never seen Die Hard.
I can't because Die Hard. I can't.
You have seen Die Hard, John. You've seen it 5 times.
I'm gonna watch Die Hard now and be like, this is a fucking ripoff of
This is a
Sudden
ripoff of
Death.
Sudden
Oh no, because the one thing I really wanted in this, I mean, we get 1 or 2 flashy bad guys, but the rest are just nameless, faceless bad guys. And that
is a smarmy asshole, though. At least.
well, a little bit, but like in Die Hard, everyone's got their thing. They got a personality. They got their own little jobs. You know what they're doing. It's just
Their name
done.
is written on John McClane in Sharpie.
Yes, they do it so much better in that movie. I mean, it's hard to not compare this movie to Die Hard. It's just hard not to.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Die
I
Hard
do.
too.
But I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it.
But you said, as far as the Van Damme-ness alone goes, it is more of an understated.
Yeah, because I mean,
I see. Big deal. Some fat guy in a ratty penguin suit.
That blonde you're staring at? She's the fat guy.
I mean, we do get a lot of hand-to-hand combat and all that stuff, but it's a lot of him just running around,
Yeah.
which is again Die Hard.
But he gets to be a little like MacGyver-ish too, because he does the whole like squirt gun with the
Yes.
lighter fluid, and then the dart that shoots out of his lapel. He's like, "How did you kill him, magic?" You know, it's just like Van Damme gets to be he's like observational comedy in this. Usually he's saying the weird shit. He's reacting like everyone else is like, out of 10, and he's just like says a little thing back at him, and I like that.
I'm the
'cause that's
fire marshal.
Yeah, it's a little different. He was so good in this. I loved him in this, and he's just so much more charismatic than fucking Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis works in one movie for me, and that's
Hudson Hawk.
Fifth Element. No, definitely not.
Well, you haven't seen Die Hard.
Yeah.
I've seen half of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He sucks.
my
Also, I've never
God.
seen his best movie.
Right?
I've seen him in Disney's The Kid and Hudson Hawk. He sucks.
Oh
See?
my God.
You would hate him too, right?
I saw Mercury Rising. And that's it.
That's it.
Holy shit.
I don't know. As far as the Van Damme, just judging on the Van Damme-ness, Jason, what do you think?
It's more generic action and less Van Damme action.
Yeah.
He doesn't do the goddamn splits.
No, he does not.
Nope.
So, yeah, it was kind of Van Damme, but like in terms of like Lionheart or something like that, or The Quest, where like he's just really fighting people who can
Yeah.
fight back.
Yeah.
He's mostly just taking like kidnappers by surprise and then kicking them in the head before they realize they're in a fight, which is it's a good strat if you're outnumbered 50-1.
Very true.
But at the same time, he didn't do anything really signature Van Damme. He was just it felt like a more generic role, and it wasn't written for him.
No.
And maybe it wasn't choreographed for him either. I don't know. But like the fights are good, but they're not
Van Damme fights. Yeah. No, I'd agree with that.
The mascot fight is just something that sticks out to me, like top 5 Van Damme fights, just I think because of the ridiculousness of it. Because it's a straight up Looney Tunes bit. Does that mean it's a great Van Damme-ish thing? Maybe not, but something like this showed his versatility a little bit more, because his Van Damme-ness always oozes out and it kind of overtakes shit that he's doing. Like, if he was in Street Fighter more and not over in, underneath the craft services table doing some yay, he probably would have taken over that movie more than he did. Where this is just like you said, this wasn't written for him, but I still think he did a good job doing the role. He didn't look lost or out of place at all.
No.
Yeah, they made a Street Fighter movie where Ken and Ryu were like background characters, which is just wild. What do you think of the Street Fighter franchise? Who comes to mind? Guile. The guy was in like 50% of the Street Fighter games tops.
That was the M. Bison movie.
Sure. Yeah. Powers Boothe definitely
we need to talk about him for sure.
Gives this movie a lot more gravitas than it deserves, Yeah, and you have to have that bad guy with a personality, and he is really bad.
Would you like a glass of wine or a cigarette? It's customary to offer these minor vices to someone before they die.
He's a son of a bitch.
He's a son of a bitch.
He's just randomly like a fighter pilot in Red Dawn. I was like, oh, is he gonna be all Powers Boothe? He's like, they didn't give me any fucking dialogue in this picture.
Yeah, I mean, he's the Hans Gruber of the picture, right?
How do you know that name?
Because I've seen Reanimator. Hans
Gruber's
Gruber's
Are you doing the bit from Rick and Morty where Summer hasn't seen Die Hard, but she does a Die Hard? Because that seems like what you're doing.
I've never seen Rick and Morty, so maybe. No. I've seen one season of Rick
Next,
and
you're going to tell me you haven't seen the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Die Hard or the
what is that?
Cleveland show Die Hard, or lots of
That's
people
Andy
do Die
Samberg,
Hards.
So yeah, no, I haven't seen that. Everything that you want from your bad guy. He monologues a little bit. He's constantly putting on this like Vegas lounge, like talk to the audience kind of deal, and he's just like this greasy dude.
He says, "How would you like me to fill your mouth with spiders?" To a little girl. That's the funniest fucking thing anyone ever said.
It's so funny, and he says it completely straight.
Yeah,
completely straight.
And your father's name?
It's McCord too.
Would you like it if I filled your little mouth with spiders? What's his whole name?
Darren Francis Thomas McCord.
Thank you.
He dies with a mustache, a fake mustache on. Like, it's fucking brilliant. It's got a good twist. You get like a sleeper agent in there. It's a very well-rounded picture. Yeah, it's very generic 90s action, and especially ripping off one specific thing. So was there any did you guys see any like behind the scenes or anything? Did they talk about that, or did they just completely like, oh yeah, we're making an original movie?
I think deep down everyone knew what they were doing, but there's been so many Die Hard, Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard there, Die Hard there. There's been a lot of them before this movie came out and since this movie came out. So it's not like they were the first to do a Die Hard.
I mean, a lot of people turned down this movie, including Bruce Willis. Like, Schwarzenegger didn't do this because he chose Junior instead. Stallone thought the script was shitty, and then Bruce Willis didn't do it because he was already doing a Die Hard. Which was an unofficial Lethal Weapon sequel.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I don't care. I still have so much fun sitting down watching this more than once. Whether it's a carbon copy of something else that I've never seen or not. It's a fun time.
It is a fun movie.
The comeuppance is great. Like I said, our main guy goes down in a helicopter in the ice while he's like staring at Van Damme, wearing a fucking
it's all in slow motion.
Oh god.
Did you guys catch the Tolliver connection?
Mm-mm.
The Penguins goalie, who's not a real player, was a guy who's an actor playing a character named Tolliver, and he was wearing Tom Barasso's pads, like the actual Penguins goalie's pads. He didn't want to do the movie, but he's like, you can use my pads in a movie? That's so funny. So, like, the Penguins goalie, they're like, oh, it's Tolliver! They should, like, you're supposed to know who that is. Like, holy shit! I'm like, where's Tom Barrasso? But anyway, Powers Boothe played a guy named Tolliver on Deadwood.
Oh. It's interesting.
And this was 5 years before Deadwood.
Makes me want to go watch more Powers Boothe stuff. But like you said, he usually just played like random bad guy, right? He was never. This was his like one big like feature role.
Powers Boothe?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was in Tombstone. He was Curly Bill in Tombstone. That was a great role.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like the uncle from the wishing bit in the Twilight Zone movie a little bit. I forget that guy's name, but remember that guy was like in everything. He's oh man.
Now Powers Boothe has had himself a career.
Oh yeah. Now, okay, Jason, I assume you've played hockey since you know so much about it.
Yeah.
Can you like see people's faces when they have their masks on? Because I just couldn't understand why they couldn't tell that that was not one of their teammates.
Oh, the players on the ice should have. But also, like, a goalie cage it's not like a regular helmet. It's kind of, there's this much visibility and then there's like a cage.
Okay.
So, it's somewhat believable that he could have just skated to the net. Nobody would have noticed it was him. The guys are like slapping him on the ass and stuff on his
yeah.
It was like, dude, I don't know.
You would know that Van Damme ass. Sure. Kevin McCarthy. That's who I was thinking of.
There was another question I had because, another Peter Hyams movie, he makes the same bomb that she does at the end of The Relic. His little bomb that he puts on the zip line thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He makes like
jar?
the jar in a jar. And the other thing was like, why do they have those fucking chemicals at a hockey stadium?
Why does he know how to make it?
Well, I mean, he's a fire marshal.
Oh, sure.
He might know a little bit of chemistry, but I'm like, why do they have those chemicals? I don't know. It was funny
never
to me.
even really says why he is like a martial artist either, does it? It just
he just is. Yeah, how would you like to be the ex-wife's like boyfriend or new husband standing there when Van Damme rolls up?
Yeah,
out of a car.
All the police and firefighters will come kick your ass, but also he'll kick your ass. Now go outside and tell him that he can't have the kids this weekend.
Yes.
That's why he was really quickly like, yeah, no, let him go. Fuck dinner.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. All right. Should we place this one? Should we rank this one? And I don't feel as good about it as I thought I was going to. We'll see.
But you can't say that ever, just having nitpicked this one, because every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is equally bad in all the ways that this one was bad.
Where does it fall on the
what
line?
what are our rankings?
Oh God,
I never remember.
Why don't you write it down if you're going to
Because I forget to write it down.
No, I think you're talking to me. God damn it, Lindsay.
You're going to call yourself John the host. Why don't you host?
It's one fucking job.
I'm not John the scribe.
What did we talk about? We did Hard Target. We did
The Quest.
The Quest is number 1 right now.
Okay.
I think it's The Quest, and then I think it's Time Cop, and then I think it's Hard Target, and then it's this one.
I don't actually need to know what the list is to know that I want this to be number 1 so far.
Oh, okay. So this beats out The Quest?
Beats The Quest.
Beats The Quest. Lindsay.
Well, I think I had Hard Target at the top of my list.
Right.
And then Time Cop, and then The Quest. So I think I would put this... I mean, and granted, it's been a while since I've seen The Quest, so I can't fairly rank that one yet, but I would put this one below Time Cop.
Okay.
Because I just have more fun with Time Cop.
Okay.
My personal rankings, I think, was The Quest, Time Cop, Hard Target. I'm going to put this right under The Quest. So I don't know as far as averages go.
I don't know what that
fucking does to the-
means.
Yeah, what that does to the master
It's number
list.
2 on average.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it
Well,
would
it got
be.
ranked first, second, third. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. So Sudden Death jumps up to number 2. Still, The Quest is just chilling at number 1.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Fucking Kumite. Oh, these Van Damme episodes.
We gotta watch Universal Soldier or Lionheart or something like that.
Yeah, I almost think like Bloodsport doesn't qualify, right? Like that's
Why
just,
not?
Because that's just like fucking
It's
fishing
too
with.
good.
It's
of
too
movie.
good.
Yeah.
It is such a good
It's
movie.
not fair to put it up against the one he did with Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
That I think doesn't have double in the name, or it does, but the one with his twin didn't have double in the name.
Double
Man, I don't
Impact.
remember. The 90s were a
Double
flipper game.
Impact is 2 Van Dams.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
What's
the
one
one
with Dennis Rodman?
Double Trouble, right?
something I don't remember what it was called.
See? Everything pre 9/11 has been wiped.
It's gone.
The pandemic just got all my happy childhood memories.
It's completely gone.
You remember trying to get a white gumball at Blockbuster to win a free video?
Yes.
Well, Blockbuster's gone, and so is Toys R Us. Remember how I used to go to CC's Pizza afterwards? Gone.
Oh my god. The nastiest pizza.
Oh god.
But it's all you could eat.
Man.
Yeah.
My childhood's really taking a beating.
Like Van Damme.
I can't wait till we're like boomers age and we're like, we long for N64 GoldenEye, and then our kids are like, this game sucks.
I still have my N64
Why do you-
with GoldenEye, and I do play it every now and then. It's
Why
like
do you
I'll
look with the shoulder buttons and run with the directional stick? What?
right. I can't do this dual stick controller shit.
I can only play that game high. I was terrible otherwise.
But when you're high, you're terrible, but you're high.
Right. When you're high, everyone
You're
else
just
is
not
high,
hard
right?
on yourself.
Yeah.
No.
You're like, man, I keep playing this same level. I'm so good.
It's a good try.
I caught all those bullets.
Well, that was our latest entry into the Van Damme Kumite, whatever we're calling this, officially or unofficially. Man, I'm surprised. I didn't know I was gonna be the main champion of this. Well, I guess Jason, you ranked it.
Put it
higher
number
than I
1.
did, but
Yeah, he
that's
ranked
true.
it higher than you did.
But I was like really into it though. Like I really like this movie.
Did you watch The Quest 5 times, John?
I did not. I did not.
It seems like you maybe like this one better.
That's the Quest is kind of like a rip off of another movie like Kickboxer or Bloodsport, a little bit.
Or Best of the Best, which
Oh,
When
That's
you're gonna
quite a
rip
cult
off
film.
your own movies, like
they take such a departure after the first one.
oh, I know.
That series is
Whereas,
amazing.
like, you remember how a taekwondo tournament where he had to like forgive a guy who killed his brother? Well, now
Yes.
they're in a secret underground fight club for the second.
With
one.
Wayne Newton.
It was like their Running Man.
Yeah. I love that movie. It's
Oh,
so
I love
good.
Best of
And
the
they
Best are
shot
like-
they kill Chris Penn.
Yeah, that's what
They
I was
break
gonna
his
say. That
neck.
cast is so crazy. Of those movies, they're like, we put together the ultimate taekwondo team. Eric Roberts, an actual guy who does taekwondo. The fat guy from Reservoir Dogs. They're
Billy
representing
from
Team
Predator. Holy
even
shit.
Kickboxer is probably too good for this list, right? Like, should those two just like sit there and kind of like be ghost judges for us? But
I don't
think
know.
you could put them in here.
But they're Van Damme movies. I don't know.
No, we might
You're
have to
gonna
knock
keep
the
them out because
Quest.
they're good,
We're gonna have to knock the Quest off its perch with Bloodsport. What a shame.
right?
Yeah, the OG's always better. All right, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Van Damme it.
What's up?
Where can everyone find you?
Oh, I feel a sneeze coming. And it's gonna
We'll go back
away.
to Lindsay. Jason, where can everyone find you?
Chew.
You stole my sneeze. It went back up.
I'm
Did
John
I really
the
steal your sneeze? What if that's my mutant power?
You steal people's sneezes.
Could be the
And they're
fucking
just like,
short
oh, there's
stick of the
still
X-Men.
something in my nose, and I'm like, not me.
No, you're Itchy J.
Oh,
Jason Ealt on Twitter.
Oh, look at that.
Spend money, I could have gotten something professionally done, but nope.
It works. It
thing
works.
in my handwriting.
You can find me on YouTube at Lindsay Washburn, and then on Twitter and Instagram it's the Lindsay Washburn, because somebody else already took Lindsay Washburn. So
That'd be
Let's find that person.
probably the nicest person.
Probably.
We'll do it. Jet Li's the one where you go and kill.
I should go
everybody named
fight
Lindsay
all the other
Washburn,
Lindsay Washburns.
and you take all their Twitter followers.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That's the podcast I want to be a part of. Yeah,
Put a reference Highlander. Went with
Right.
Jet Li's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm John the Host. You can follow me at John the Host. You could also follow this very show at The Cult of Films. We'll see you next time.